Hi there, my name is Robin Long, and welcome to the DIY column of the VokTalk newsletter, where we explore how to apply good andragogical practices in our real teaching lives. In today's column, so February 2022, we're going to explore how to use presentation software such as Google Slides or Microsoft PowerPoint to create a guided student research activity. This activity can be done on an individual basis or in small teams or even as a large group. And what a student research activity is it's an activity where the student is going to have to do research on a topic, a theme, a subject matter, a part of what they have to learn, and they're going to document what they find. So here what we're going to see is we're going to see an activity that's done with, not with cooking this time around, at least I have another example, is this is an activity that was done with the telecommunications program. And this is a research activity that is done by a student individually or in small groups. And this is a research activity where they have to go find information about measurement tools. And then once they found the information, and they're looking for specific information, once they found the information, they put it into this template, which is in Google Slides. All right, and once again, like from previous videos, you saw that we used a template from an outside source, and it's easy to go between Google Slides or Microsoft PowerPoint, whichever one you want. So in this video, I'm going to refer to Google Slides, but it really is the same thing for Microsoft PowerPoint. Here you can see that what the student is going to do is in the template, they're going to add information about the tools that they find, and the information is guided. So there's definite fields inside this document where the student is going to have to fill up the fields, and that's how it guides them. So they need to put in an image, they need to explain how it's used, any safety precautions that are taken, they need to insert a video, they need to say when it would be used and what for, and then critically, they have to cite their sources. Because what's really important in this activity is not just that the student can find the information, but that the student can verify that the information is accurate. So that is sort of it's easy to find videos and get information about what something is and how it works, but to verify that information is correct, that's a big chunk of this. And so the student is going to start with going to Wikipedia most likely, but then then the student needs to be guided to look at the sources in Wikipedia and cross-reference those sources to make sure that the information is correct. So for example, here you can see that link 1 goes to the Wikipedia page, but then link 2 opens up a link to a manufacturer's guide on how to use the tool, and a PDF. And like link 3 accesses a textbook. So that's a really good way for them to cross-reference the information. And then at the bottom, in the field at the bottom, the student says, well, this is how I went about making sure that the information was accurate. So why is this type of an activity a really good andragogical practice? Well, what it does is it ticks off a few of the boxes there for adult learners where we're really solving real-world problems. You're getting them to participate in their learning. The learning is organized and clear, and you're offering them choice and advocacy, which is a huge part of differentiated learning. So let's look at the first point. So the real-world problem solving. What this activity is going to do is to simulate real-world problem solving is that they're making the student go after information that they don't have. And the information that they need is out there, but they're going to have to judge whether or not that information is accurate. And that's the real world problem solving part, because once they leave school, they'll no longer have you as a support system to be able to say, yes, that's a good video, that shows it well, or no, that source, that PDF is not accurate because that's an old model of what's being used and the models have changed because of digitization or that type of thing. So in the real world, as we're doing our trades, we have to learn how new material, new products, new systems work. And a lot of that information is online. So teaching them how to accurately find information online and judge whether that information is good is a huge part of the trade today. The second point, that it's participatory, is that for the adult, you're guiding them as to what needs to be learned, but how they're going to learn about that information is up to them. So certain learners might prefer to use video sources, other learners might prefer to use canned video sources, and others might to see live action, like on a Twitch stream. I'm not sure if there exists for Twitch streams for that kind of stuff, but that idea. Other learners might prefer to read about it, or if a podcast exists, I don't know. But they're participating in choosing the medium at which they prefer to learn. And as far as it being organized, because the template is set up so that the student knows where the fields, knows what information we're looking for by guiding it through these fields, it organizes their learning so that they stay focused and that they don't go off on wild goose chases and get lost in the details. It really it keeps their eye on the prize as far as the learning is concerned. And then, so all these three principles actually are the core principles of differentiated learning. So that the adult learner has advocacy over how they learn something, and that the instructor or the teacher is guiding their learning to ensure that what they're learning is relevant at this point, but how and when and this aspect, that belongs to the learner. Let's go ahead and make one now. So the steps on creating this type of activity, of course, start with always step one is the macro planning, just like you saw before in the other activities. Then we need to decide on the content that is to be learned, so the topic. And then what's different here is that we're going to start by creating an answer key. We're going to actually use a principle of understanding by design, and we're going to start backwards. So we're going to create our answer key, and we're going to say, okay, we want to learn about measurement tools for telecommunications, and here are some really good sources for these tools. So we're going to create our answer key. Once we have our answer key, then we're going to choose our nice little template that we want to use, to slides or PowerPoint template. Then we're going to set up the template so there are fields, and then we're going to share it with the students, along with the explanation of the activity. So those are sort of the steps of the activity. So let's get started.